Picture having the power to create an imaginary friend that is a full-fledged entity in your mind, possessing emotions and their own individual consciousness. How would you react? What feats would you attempt to accomplish? What else would you be capable of with this power? All of this and more is a possibility through the mysterious power of tulpas, and when done right, can transcend your mundane life into the extravagantly supernatural. I'm Vidith22, and let's dive into the dark together. Originating from Tibet and Indian Buddhism, a tulpa was used in ancient teachings as a practice to show that the world around us exists as an illusion, and that the student could not trust what their senses perceived. As defined by r/tulpas, a tulpa is believed to be an autonomous consciousness existing within the creator's mind, often with a form of their creator's initial choice and design. A tulpa is entirely sentient and in control of their opinions, feelings, form, and movement. They are willingly created by people via a number of techniques to act as companions, muses, and advisors. Put simply, a tulpa is a sentient imaginary friend. The key difference is that, unlike the classic idea of an imaginary friend, a tulpa does not do exactly what you want it to do. A tulpa possesses independent thought processes and forms its own opinions. This is generally taken as the mark of sentience in the tulpa community. That said, the definition of sentience is disputed and varies, both within the tulpa community and in general. Now that we have a general understanding of what a tulpa is, how does one go about creating such an entity? Well, luckily for us, there are also a plethora of links showing you in detail how to create and visualize your very own tulpa. Now, this does also urge any new users to try more than one guide when creating your tulpa. Everybody's minds works in a different way, and maybe the guide you pick will not work very consistently for you. Digging further, what emerged was a full-fledged guide written by G.G. Mathis on how to create and maintain your own tulpa. Precreation. Greeting stage. I've seen some threads around with people who are having some trouble with feeling their tulpa's presence. They feel like they are talking to themselves or just talking to air, and they can't seem to make any progress. I also see some people becoming frustrated over not having their tulpa being sentient after hours upon hours, saying that the tulpa just doesn't feel real, even after all this time. For those people, I would like to suggest a stage even before the personality stage in the FAQ's guides. A pre-creation stage, or as I call it, the greeting stage. It isn't hard in the least. In fact, it only takes me one session of about half an hour. Some of the terminology I use here out in this post may imply the supernatural perspective of tulpa creation. However, I'm purely psychological in my beliefs regarding tulpas. I simply cannot find better words without ruining the purpose of the stage. Here's how it goes. Sit down in a comfortable position, just like you would do in any other tulpa forcing session. Close your eyes and begin to imagine your tulpa. No form necessary, but a name makes it easier. Think about some of the traits that the tulpa has. No, you aren't going into the same depth you go into during the personality stage. Just think about some of the traits the tulpa might have. Intelligent, carefree, just the names of the traits is enough, really. What you are doing is creating the soul of the tulpa, in a sense. Once you got a feel for it, say its name and begin to talk to it. Tell it that you are going to force it, or whatever terminology you want to use for the creation process, and that you look forward to meeting it. However, don't say, "I'm going to force you." Instead, say, "We are going to force you." This should give a sense of unity and companionship with you and your tulpa right off the bat. Never say "I" or referring to who will be working on the tulpa. Always use "we" or similar plural proper nouns, us or our. Talk about what you will do together once it is complete, etc., etc. What does this accomplish? By the end of this stage, the tulpa should already be inside you. albeit immature and without most of the traits and forms that you will eventually guide it through. It makes it easier to feel your Tulpa's presence and feel like it's really there. The narration stage especially should be easier. Also, while this is only a theory, I believe that this may help with quickening sentience. However, this is purely speculation. In short, yes, you are deluding yourself right off the bat. Is that a problem? If you are answering yes, then you probably shouldn't be making a Tulpa. If you answered no, Godspeed. I didn't take this approach personally, but I feel like it would be really, really helpful, especially for someone who is making a Tulpa for the first time. Here's an example. Hello. Raina. Raina, can you hear me? I know you can. You are intelligent, decisive, devoted, reckless, enthusiastic, narcissistic, strong-minded, and determined. Together, Raina, we are going to force you. I need your help for this, though, just as much as you need mine. I understand what we plan to do perfectly in my mind, and I will work at it every day to achieve our goal. You will be a companion for me, Raina. We shall both utilize each other's knowledge and perception to become a greater being, linked together. I hope to serve as a kind of friend to you, and you to me. Our companionship will last a lifetime. We will create you, Raina. No matter how long it takes, no matter how hard it might be, we will never give up. Repeat traits. Start to envision in your mind a ball of sorts, where the traits all kind of bundle up and fuse together. Optional. Start to imagine the form of your Tulpa at this point if you want to. It'll get a better idea of how it's going to look later on. Raina, you and I will conquer anything that stands in our path and fight against any sort of struggle. The world's a dangerous place. We're going to be sticking out for each other. I promise you that we will force X hours a week every day. This is optional, but if you feel that it's better to set a goal for yourself with your forcing, we are connected and united as one, and we will have no need to lie to one another. Criticism is constructive and never negative. Raina, together, we can force you. Repeat these traits and start to think about the traits a bit more if you want to. This is only about a 30-minute session. The subreddit then continues to elaborate on the inherent functions of a Tulpa. A Tulpa, once created, can communicate with you at any time. They are almost always present in some form, even when idle or not paying attention. Communicating with a Tulpa can be done vocally or mentally, simply directing your thoughts towards them and keeping your mind open. Responses may be as simple as an emotional impulse, a full coherent response, or even full auditory hallucination of speech. Initially, communication is quite limited, and it takes months of practice to improve. While some parts of them remain ever-present, Tulpas are typically responsive to their creator's wishes and can divert their attention and communication if their creator is socializing with others or wishes to be alone. One of the most common ways to experience and spend time with a Tulpa is to visualize what they look like in what you call a wonderland, known by some as a dreamscape or mindscape, where you can hang out together. A wonderland is just a persistent mental environment, easily recalled and visualized. Wonderlands are not strictly necessary, though, however convenient or relaxing they may be. Tulpas aren't a replacement for human social contact, but a means of personal insight, improved perspective, and companionship outside of your usual social life. While some may seek to use a Tulpa in lieu of a social life and a wonderland instead of experiencing reality, we do not condone or encourage that. And if you try to anyway, you're likely to find your own mental schism admonishing you for such escapist behavior. Ultimately, each Tulpa is unique and distinct to the mind of their creator and host. So while we can assert generalities, specifying exactly the how and why of Tulpa is beyond our current capabilities. We are seeking answers through collaboration and comparison, though, and hopefully we'll have shared some of our individual and collective insights and experiences throughout this subreddit and wiki. Now that you have the basic understanding of a Tulpa, and how to go about creating one, what happens next is due to your own volition. If you do attempt to create your own entity, do so at your own discretion, viewers. Not everything is as it seems.